feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood, feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, hey, every day can be a
Welcome back,
better day despite the
everybody.
challenge.
Happy
All you
Sunday. You're
gotta
listening
do is
to
leave
Whatever
it better
Works
than you
on
found
KCAA,
it.
1050
It's
AM
gonna
and
get
Express
difficult, December,
106.5
hold your
FM,
balance.
the station
I
that
just say
leaves
whatever,
no
'cause
listener
there is no
behind.
way
I'm your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And tonight it's going to be...
fine, it's okay.
it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Every day we learn something, right? Or
Yeah.
I feel like every day you should be learning something.
Right.
You know, whether it's something something about yourself, something about your work, something about just like knowledge or education. Like,
Yeah.
you should always be keeping an ear out for something that you learn, because you don't even have to seek it, you know?
Right.
Sometimes you're just having a conversation and then someone says something and it's like, boom, an epiphany. Or like, oh, I learned something today, you know, things like that. And
Right.
so, you know, this past week, it's been pretty good, and I learned some stuff about me and some educational things, and I'm going to be talking about that a little bit tonight.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, you know what time it is.
SNJRadio.com. No negative news, no politics, just feel good music.
And if you guys want to be a sponsor on our show, please
Yeah.
just hit us up. Let us know. We do shout-outs we should be doing shout-outs every 15 minutes on the hour. We can also, this is a radio station, so, you know, when it comes to doing not commercials, but like ads or spots or things like that, hey, come talk to us. You know, it's very affordable. It is the radio. It reaches, 5 million people throughout the
Yeah.
day, things like that. So a lot of good stuff that we can leverage when you're on the radio. And that's another thing that I was kind of like thinking to myself, I'm off and on, but this radio show, you know, like, how can I leverage it? How can I really make it efficient for me in my life,
Yeah.
you know? And one of those things is real estate that I do, and we're going to be talking a little bit about real estate as well. And my co-host here, Kyle, he's a inspector, right?
Yep. Property inspection. Property, commercial, residential.
So it's just kind of cool, you know, like, we're not just, you know, co-host and host.
Yeah.
We're also in the same field of the careers and everything like that. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sure you got stories. You were telling me some stories before the show,
Uh-huh.
which was pretty crazy, pretty wild, the places you've been, the houses you've seen. You know, stepping in foot on these houses that, you know, a lot of people drive by and they're like, wow, I wonder what it looks like in there, you know, or I wish I could be
Yeah.
there. And we have that opportunity
We
too.
do.
It's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
It is, because, like, Zillow's okay, but, like, when you actually go into the house, you feel the environment, you feel the aura, you
yeah.
know.
It's a whole new thing.
Yeah.
And not only that, nowadays, you know, there's a thing called like catfishing.
Yep.
Right? Not even with
Yeah.
just people. So if you
No.
guys don't know what catfishing is, Kyle, can you explain to the people what catfishing is?
Is when people lie about something or pretty something up than what it really appears to be.
Right. So some people, they get catfished online.
It happens to people. It happens to properties.
Right. Like, for example, you're on social media and like you see this, you know, attractive person, you guys start communicating, like, hey, let's meet up, and then you meet up with that person and you're like, that's not you. You know what I mean? Like, how is that? That's
Yeah.
catfishing. Same thing with properties. We've done open
Big time.
houses, and, you know, people would take pictures of homes and Photoshop the houses and what it looks like in the inside just to reel people in. You know, you're fishing.
Yeah.
And people show up to the properties, and a lot of people, especially out in LA, are searching for homes more towards the east, like more towards our area.
Big time.
And you know the average home price in LA is?
Average home price, I'm going to say 900,000.
It broke that. We're talking $1 million now
Oh, shoot. Okay.
for like a 2-bedroom.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's like a lot of these people are moving from LA further out here just to find affordable living.
Yeah.
And so when people post pictures of like these houses and they're photoshopped and things like that. First of all, that's illegal unless there's like a disclosure in there.
Right.
But I held an open house one time in a city. If this probably makes sense, in a city of San Bernardino.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm telling you, no doors throughout the whole house. I'm talking not even a front door. Like you stand in the front
so it's
door.
a real open house.
Like you.
So they weren't lying about that.
Right.
It was
no,
open house.
The front door to the back door was like, lined up, and you just see their backyard. Anyways, it was not what the pictures made it seem. And there was people from LA, because I was doing that open house, that came by to see the house, and they were like, "What? Like these photos don't even look like da da da." You know what I mean? I'm just like, yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy thing. But what's really cool is when you go to these houses, and they're just like spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
like there was a dream house of mine. Like, okay, so what's your dream car?
My dream car, Porsche GT Carrera.
Okay, have you ever driven it?
I've been inside one. I've never driven.
Okay, well, you are closer than most people from doing that, because a lot of people are like, oh, I dream, like, I wish I had like a Lamborghini, but you never had, like, you never touched one, been inside one, driven, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with me, I had like this image of this dream home that I've always wanted as a little kid, and I can go into some pretty good detail, but I had this idea, and then I did this open house, and it was obviously not an exact replica of what I was dreaming, but I was like, this is my dream house.
Yeah.
From like the palm trees to the style to the pool, like everything. I was like, wow, and being able to do an open house, I got to experience, like, I did an open house for like 4 or 5 hours, right? I got to experience living there for 4 or 5 hours.
That's cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no one else is there unless like people show up to go see the open house. But like, I had the house to myself. I got to walk around. Like, oh, this is the the primary room. This is the backyard. Like, look at this pool. But something hit me. It was like just being there for those 5 hours. Like I already got used to it.
Yeah.
Because like you get excited about something, and
Yeah.
then once you have it, especially if you have it for a while, like pools and trampolines. I wish I had a trampoline. I wish I had a trampoline. And then you get one, and you might use it for like a month, maybe 2,
And then you don't. Yeah.
ever again. Maybe
Yeah.
once in a
That's
while.
pools too.
Yeah, pools too. Oh, I wish I had a pool, and then you hardly use the pool.
Yeah.
And so, but this house though, like even though it was like it was still a beautiful, beautiful home, and I'm like, I can't believe this is my job. I get to go, show these properties, like show these amazing houses. But on the other hand, I also shown some like horrible homes, like like unfortunately, like the owners died and like everything's still there and they just need to sell it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they just hope like an investor would come in and just like throw all the junk out, gut out the house, and just like take care of the mess,
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I've been on both sides of the spectrum,
Right.
and like we're just talking about this open house that I went to yesterday that my brother's like really interested in. Like that home, if it was in prime condition, it can go over 700,000, like 750,000, but it's on the market right now for 499. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Time, right? If someone's like, hey, I have to move, I can't afford it, well, then they're not going to price a house to maximize the money that they're going to get. A death or a divorce or like anything like that. And I think the worst part about it is that whatever it sells for, it's going to affect the value of every home around it within like a 1 mile radius.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so it's like you can only hope and pray that, hey, they sell that house for a high price if you're the neighbor's sake. Like, oh, if they sold their house for X amount, more likely than not, I can at least get around that area. But if it's below value, especially below market value, well, then it kind of affects the rest of the people in the area,
Yeah.
I like giving out free CMAs. CMAs are current market analysis or comparable market analysis, just to give you an idea of like where you're at in terms of your home value.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it's up to you to be like, I think my house is worth this much. This is how much I want to sell it for.
So you have tools that you log into, like on your
Oh,
computer?
yeah. And
So like you could like do it to my house if you wanted to.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I'll let you guys know a little secret about what we do and how we do it. And it's not really a secret, but okay, who determines the value of your home? Especially if you're financing, right? So the appraisers.
Right.
So it's not what we do, it's like what do appraisers do to find out the value of your home? Well, typically on a like they're not so this is just a basic rundown, right? Because you can have the same 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 8,000 square foot, whatever, but they might have upgraded kitchen. They probably threw in another half bath or something, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so it depends on like the upgrades, the remodeling and things like that, and how much personal stuff you put in the house. Like Michael B. Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
his house still on the market. Like it's, even though the house is like amazing, it is so custom to him
Yeah.
that he wants to sell it for millions. He's like, I'm Michael Jordan, you
Yeah.
know? But then like the front gate is like 23 because that's his number. He has like a whole room dedicated to him, like his colors and his like everything. So if someone was going to buy that house for millions and millions of dollars,
It'd have to be someone who was a fan of him,
a fan of him or who is willing to remodel that whole house
which
inside
is,
and out, which is going to cost more money.
Yeah. With these prices of like heck no.
Right. So it's like,
Yeah.
it depends on how personalized you made the house. But anyways, the formula is just the price per square foot
Mm-hmm.
times your square footage.
Yeah.
That simple. In a grand scheme of things, right? That gives you an idea. But if you didn't take care of your home, or if you were the only one on that block who took care of the house, like it's all gonna change and be different. And
Yeah.
it's usually within a 1 mile radius, right? Because a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet home in this part of town is not going to be the same home value as 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet over on the other side of town, right?
Right.
So they try to get it as the comparables as close as they can to that house with roughly around the same measurements of like size and bedrooms and baths and stuff. But then, of course, again, if I said you got to upgrade a bathroom, upgrade a kitchen, new flooring, things like that, new roof, like that also determines your home value.
Right.
But not a lot of people know that, So it's very important to take care of your house, take care of your home, because that is literally your savings account.
Yeah, it's an asset.
You can do so much with the equity of your home
Mm-hmm.
and so much of just having a property. And it's so
Yeah.
hard nowadays to get into a property that the ones that do have houses, you're in good hands. If you know what to do, you know what I mean? Because
Well, like your house or anything you own is an extension of your net worth. So, if you owe
excuse me.
$40,000 in taxes, but you own a $600,000 home, you're worth $560,000.
Right.
You're like, and then like it's also credit affected.
Mhm.
Everything about your life, your house affects taxes.
Mhm.
What tax bracket you're in,
Yeah.
how much you get back, how much you owe.
Yep.
It's all dependent on the house you get.
Yeah. And there's always like tricks out there and stuff. Like something that I recently found out is that the interest rates are tax deductible.
Mm-hmm.
Those are write-offs.
Yeah, I didn't find that out until about a couple months ago.
Yeah. So when people are like, "Oh, the interest rates are really high," okay, I'm gonna explain to you why. There's pros and cons to that, and here are the pros. There's flexibility in the market, right? Let's say if you bought your house at an interest rate of 2%, good for you. Like your monthly payment's probably low. You're not getting like taxed that high, like whatever the case may be. But you probably would never refinance,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So now you have all this equity just built up in this home. and now you don't want to take it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like the power, like someone gives you a tool, like a hammer and some nails, like it wouldn't really matter unless you knew what you're going to do with it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
someone, you were able to get yourself a house, build up that equity. You can do so many things with it.
Yeah.
I'm not advising anything. I'm just saying there's a lot of opportunity there,
Right.
right? But at 2%, I guess one of the only things you can really brag about is like, hey, 2%, you know,
Yeah.
like my monthly payment. And then on top of that, during that time, if the interest rates were that low, what about those house prices? What about the competition? What about paying over asking? Like those are the cons of having a low interest rate in the beginning. Like once you're in, you're solid. But having a low interest rate is great if you're never going to sell. It's great if you're building generational wealth for you and your family, having a house for your great grandkids, that's great. But if you're at like a 5, 6, 7%, even 8% interest rate, well, there's still a chance interest rates to go up. Right, Ken? I mean, buying interest rates at like 12, 13% at your age, way back when. Not way back when. You're still pretty young. But,
You just offended my dad. Thanks. No,
I think it was like towards the late 80s
Yeah.
where interest rates were in the double digits.
Yeah.
Right? And so people are like, oh, interest rates are high right now. Compared to what? Like, what are you comparing the interest? Like during COVID? You know what I mean? Like right now there's flexibility. Can interest rates go down? Yes. Would you be able to refinance? Yes. Would you be able to take money out of your house? Yes. Are interest rates can interest rates possibly go up? Yes. But you're in the game.
Yeah.
It's either you're out of the game because you're not getting a house, because you're too scared, because you don't like the name interest rates. And by the way, if you're renting right now, that's 100% interest rate.
Yeah.
Like, would you rather pay for your own mortgage, or pay someone else's mortgage for them?
Right.
And I'm not saying, oh, buying a house is the only way to go. No, it's not. Because I'll tell you why. If you're someone who travels a lot, bouncing back and forth careers and this, and you need to go when you have to, maybe owning a home is probably not the best thing.
Right.
I know people who literally move every year and a half due to their occupation.
Yeah, whether it's military or just
So are you really
international business?
So you're gonna buy a house, pack everything in there, and then you gotta sell it. Then it's a whole process. Things fall out.
Yeah.
Like it's a hassle.
Mm-hmm.
So, but overall, like generally speaking, owning a home is one of the best things you can do financially. One of the reasons why I chose to be in real estate is because there is a pattern in most millionaires and billionaires, and that is most of them have a real estate portfolio.
Yeah.
I don't want to say all because I don't believe in like the all or nothing type, those words. I forgot what they're called. But most of them do. So I'm like, okay, well, what about real estate? Like, why do they all have a real estate portfolio? Well, tax write-offs, generational wealth, like cash flow. Like, there's so many things in real estate.
I got a story for you.
All right, give it to me. So,
I met. Do you know what a dominatrix is?
Please explain.
Joe does.
Joe's laughing.
It's a female who, through sex, like you go to her to perform sex acts, like
Okay.
whether it's like with toys and stuff like that.
Okay.
I met. No, not all the time.
Most of the time.
I met an 88-year-old dominatrix who had pictures with former presidents. She had pictures with like people from the Rat Pack. I'm not going to say names.
I mean, the Rat Pack, that's the name you just said.
Yeah. Well, certain members.
Right.
Congressmen. Congressmen from other countries. Actors from other countries. And I didn't know about this until I looked at her property. I was doing an interior and exterior inspection. So I started on the interior. Two-story house, great. Everything looks good. I'm finishing up, and she goes, "Wait, you didn't take a look at the basement."
She wants you to look in the basement.
Well, no, because I have to look because I have to look at the whole house,
Gotcha.
and it's rare in California to have a basement.
It is.
Like only 15 to 20% of houses maybe have one, right? Something like that.
Okay.
And so I take a look in the basement, and her basement alone had toys, contraptions. Like, I appraised her basement alone
I appraised her stuff.
like $650,000 worth of stuff. She had an Iron Maiden full of, instead of spikes, it's something else. No, but I have to. When you do a high value inspection, you have to include art and amenities. And so
So was that art or was that amenities?
it's depending on who you ask. So just what was in her basement was $650,000 worth of stuff.
They probably shot the 50 Shades of Grey movie like in her basement.
It was like there was more stuff in that basement than in the movie.
It's a shop.
That's like the Project X of parties.
Yeah.
This was like
The Project X of.
the Project X of 50 Shades of Grey. It was like the basement lined the whole house, nothing but equipment, and she had ledgers and she had pictures of like really famous people.
When she said you forgot the basement, did she smile?
Yeah. But so yeah, I was talking to her because now I'm interested. Like, how did you get all this stuff? Like, she's like, well, I make most of my money doing real estate. She says, but I still have a few clients. Yeah, she's 88.
Man, she's not gonna die anytime soon. Let me tell you, dude. She's keeping herself alive.
So like Congress members and famous people would fly out to Palm Desert. That's where she lives, in Palm Desert. To go have fun with her, pay her, and then leave. And so I'm just like, what's your occupation? Like, how much do you make? Like,
Right.
off the book. And she said, well, I actually don't make that much off of being a dominatrix. Like, I make... She goes... And she said it this way. She said, I only make about $750,000 a year doing dominatrix. Only. I'm like, only? And so I'm like, well, how do you make most of your money? She said, 90% of my money I make off real estate. She owns 47 houses in the U.S.
Wow.
16 in like Sweden or somewhere. And like multiple houses around the world.
Wow. That's insane.
Her net worth is probably like 800 million to $1 billion.
She's low profile.
Very. And like meeting her, you would never guess.
Is she a sweetheart?
She's a sweetheart.
She's just like one.
She's like your average grandma. Like she walks in, like you ever walk into your grandma's house, she's like, oh, here, have some cookies.
I was
you
gonna
know?
say cookies are just coming out of the oven.
Like she look like she gave off like Paula Deen vibes. Like sweetheart, very soft spoken too. But then she flips a switch when she's don't do another thing.
Wow.
So she has the whole get up and everything too. Like it's in the basement. So she has like the spandex, like the whips, the chains, the
Everything.
everything you could imagine. She has it.
Wow. You know, if we weren't talking on the radio, dude, this conversation would just start going.
Yeah, there's
Off the rail.
yeah, there's some stuff I can't say. Obviously,
I'm biting my tongue. Dude. I was hoping like, imagine if like Boss Man's all listening and it's like he just listened to that part. You know? Like, oh.
But no, she had tables where with chains. She had like,
Wow.
the Iron Maiden was the scariest part.
The Iron Maiden?
So you know what Iron Maiden is?
No.
It's a contraption that has needles inside of it. So it opens up and you go inside of it, and when the door closes,
So like Despicable Me with like the spikes and then like
Yeah.
the juice box?
Yeah. It was that, but with sex toys.
Wow.
That was $200,000 alone. And she had tables, and she had pictures and ledgers full of signatures and pictures with, like,
Just
famous people.
Like we know those famous people, huh?
For sure. They would probably know more, like, huh? Yeah, oh, what's the address so I can avoid?
No, he's gonna show up. As soon as you walk in the basement, it says no flash photography. It's like,
Yeah.
yo.
But no, she's been in the business for like 70 years. She started as soon as she turned 18, 19.
Wow. But real estate is what really got her wealthy.
Yeah, so real estate. But like that was just going off what you were saying, how most people who are millionaires or billionaires have a real estate portfolio.
Yeah.
She owns probably over 90 houses around the world.
That's insane.
And she's never at that Palm Desert house. She lives across the country.
Yeah, bro. She's probably what do they call them? Little snowbirds. No.
But no, she only visits this house like 2 weeks out of the year.
Okay.
And had I rescheduled or had I, came earlier,
Or
whatever,
late, or-
I would have just met her property manager and not her.
Oh wow.
But out of any time of the year, booking, and this case was booked to me because sometimes I call people and I assign cases to myself. Other times my company will give me a case at a certain time, like around the same area. And that was one of them. So I called to confirm. She was sound really sweet. I met her. Grandma vibes. Paula Dean vibes.
Pinching your cheeks.
She was like the sweetest lady I've ever met. Go to her basement, you would never have guessed it was her.
Like, this is yours?
And she's like, "Oh, I only do this. Like, this is only 7. I'm only out here to do
That.
that."
So who was she? You know what I mean? Like, she's there, dude. Like.
Probably.
So who do you got coming today? She's like, hurry up, I got an appointment. Anyways, all right, you guys, that was a pretty good fun conversation there going. But we are gonna take a 5-minute break, and when we come back, we're gonna be talking a little more about real estate. And
we're gonna bring it back to real estate.
we're gonna bring it back. All right, you guys, we'll be back in 5 minutes. You're listening to Whatever Works on KCA.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed.
From the Bureau of Economic Geology, this is Earth Date. Eyes are not just windows to the soul. They've been key to the evolution of life as we know it. Predators develop binocular vision to give them better depth perception when hunting prey. As a response, prey developed eyes on the sides or tops of their heads for a wide field of view to detect predators. A raptor can spot a rabbit from more than a mile away. Butterflies see ultraviolet light to find flowers and mates. But there was a time long ago when life on Earth was blind. Then, about 500 million years ago, trilobites evolved. Much like today's horseshoe crabs, they scuttled around the ocean floor looking for marine worms or carrion to scavenge. And to help find food, they began to develop eyes. This amazing new capability allowed them to spread across the globe, adapt to different environments, and diversify into as many as 20,000 species, ranging in size from a fingertip to a trash can lid. Trilobite eyes forced other organisms to evolve defense mechanisms like locomotion and camouflage and eyes to compete with them for food and to avoid being eaten. Some scientists think that trilobite eyes encouraged the explosion of diverse life forms that led to the dinosaurs. Vision enabled trilobites to dominate the Earth for more than 100 million years, and although they eventually went extinct, vision has survived across the millennia. So next time you use your eyes, thank the lowly trilobite for getting the party started. I'm Scott Tinker, and this has been your Date with Earth.
Earth Date is produced by the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas at Austin. Earth Date is researched by Julie Hennings, written by Harry Lynch, and distributed by Mark Blunt and Casey Walker. For more stories, follow us on Facebook or visit earthdate.org.
Every Wednesday at 3 p.m., it's the Uncommon Sense Democrat with host Eric Bauman.
I love when his people talk about how old Joe Biden is, but he's just a couple years behind him.
You'll get the best political commentary and stuff like this.
Good night, Donald Trump. Well, it's time to go.
Join us for the Uncommon Sense Democrat every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the stations that leave no listener behind, KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM.
Eat bread, lose weight. That's right. Eat bread, lose weight. Hello, everybody. I'm Joseph from Joseph's Organic Bakery. We offer ancient grain bread from the Bible. That's right. Ancient grain bread from the Bible. We stone grind daily, ferment using sourdough, and bake that same day. Everything is then shipped fresh to our customers nationwide. So if you're interested in feeling good, improving your digestion, knocking down your blood pressure, and balancing your blood sugar, pick up the phone, give us a call, 954-541-4062, 954-541-4062, or you can order online, veganbakerymiami.com, veganbakerymiami.com.
Have you had your insurance policy canceled or non-renewed? Tune into Insurance Hour with host Carl Sussman. Carl takes your questions live and helps you understand what you can do. Call 559-656-0317 or email your questions to questions@insurancehour.com. If you need someone right away, dial pound 250 and use keyword insurance. Insurance Hour is the only radio show syndicated across California, reaching more than 30 million listeners. If you miss the show live, you can find it on YouTube or your favorite podcast application.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah, hey, every day.
Hey everybody, welcome back. You're listening to Whatever Works on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM. I'm your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And we got Joe and Ferran and Ken and all. The boys are back in town. I'm all singing like two different songs. Songs playing. Anyways, if you guys are just tuning in, man, you guys missed.
You missed a wild half hour.
Yeah, go back and check it out. You guys can go.
The first
on
15 minutes was real estate, then the last 15 minutes was
just chaos. No, I wouldn't say chaos. It was just
it was another level.
like basement.
Also,
level.
you're welcome for that.
Yeah. Anyways, so if you guys are just tuning in, you guys can go back and listen to the first half of our show. Very educational. Just go on, just go on Spotify.
That's
or,
subjective.
Yeah, Spotify or anything, Apple Music, and just look up KCAA Whatever Works. That's KCAA Whatever Works. And before we start jumping back into our conversations, Kyle, you know what time it is.
Our sponsor, SNJRadio.com. No negative news, no politics, just feel good music.
If you guys want to be a sponsor, let us know. We do shout-outs. We can make spots for you guys and do everything. This is the radio. So
yeah, we're on all social media platforms, Instagram,
and we're
Facebook.
We're doing nothing but growing. So
farmers only.
Yeah, so hey, just stick around, guys. And we're just talking about real estate and how important it is, and just to like know the knowledge, right? Like a lot of people, I would say, get your real estate license just to know. You know, when you sell a home, that's you want.
I thought about it.
You want to know you want to know the contracts. Like you want to understand how the process works and that whole thing. And you do have an agent with you, guiding you and holding your hand and walking you through. But at the end of the day, you don't want to be, just clueless. Like you want to know something.
Well, no, like just hearing you talk about real estate over the past year or so, I've entertained the idea. I thought about getting it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's huge. It's a big part of a lot of people's lives. It's a goal for a lot of people. One day I want to own a house.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be screwed over, right? So make sure if you do have a real estate agent, someone like me, who understands the market, who knows, who's like a seasoned realtor, it's all about trust and building a relationship and, them knowing the market and pulling the comparables and the value and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this. If I were to get my real estate license,
Okay.
right, how does that benefit me in finding a house, as opposed to just looking for a house now?
Well, the tools. Like
Okay.
we have, as realtors, we have access to things that the public does not have access to.
Right. Okay.
Like imagine if you had access to houses that are gonna come on the market soon, but that's not on the market yet.
Okay.
Huge advantage.
This is true, yeah.
Hey, there's a house that's gonna be on the market in 2 weeks, but we're gonna go check it out today.
So you're already ahead, and you're already getting the
We're
ball
already
rolling.
running numbers. We're already running comps. We're already talking to the agent. We're already figuring out, okay, what's our best and strongest offer.
Yeah.
There's ones that are not even coming soon, but are registered.
Okay.
The public does not have access to that. Maybe because the house is not ready. Maybe because they still need prep time, or they're indecisive, or stuff going on. There's some things that need to be moved around before the house goes on the market. But just having that is probably one of the biggest things.
Yeah, no, that sold me alone. Yeah.
And then being an agent, if you're not an agent, you can't just walk into a house, or you can't schedule a showing, and then you got to have an agent with you.
Right.
So if you're already the agent, be like, hey, I want to go see this house. I'm an agent, yada yada. They'll be like, okay, go, boom, boom, boom. Here's your appointment.
Yeah.
All
right. So
So-
how does that work? Do you have to give them your MLS, or how
Well,
does
yeah,
that work?
they always say, oh, can you send me your business card?
Oh, okay, and it has your stuff on it. Yeah.
And then there's always anyone who sold a house, there was a lockbox, or what we call a Supra, where your keys are locked into a lock, and you can't have access unless the agent gives you the keys
Yeah.
or the code. When I do open houses, a lot of them are not my personal homes that I have listed,
Right.
but I'm hosting them for other agents,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not there to open the house. They say, hey, lockbox is by the gas meter, and it's up to me to unlock the house, turn all the lights on, know my stuff, do my due diligence, and just take care of everything on my end.
Okay.
So, but
Plus, getting your license gives you the information on what to look for
exactly
inside of a house,
and just the tools that we have, it's
Yeah.
we can go more in depth. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of people, you have access to public records, which honestly show a lot, but a lot of people don't do it.
Yeah.
Not because, whatever. It's just most people just don't. They don't look at public records. They don't know
Right.
where to go. They don't know where to start.
Yeah.
You
Or
know?
square footage and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and how it's amazing just having your license can do for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just having the knowledge, having the access, having the tools, having, just that ability to look at a house and understand, am I getting screwed over?
Right.
Is that house even priced right? Is that something that I want to get involved with? When it comes to insurance, it's not just, oh, look at this house. This is the living room. This is the kitchen. It's, okay, solar. Is it lease? Is it finance?
Yeah.
The whole loan process. Even though we have lenders, we still have an idea about, the whole loan.
Yeah.
What's required. A lot of people, they're like, hey, I have money. Can I buy a house? Well, there are requirements and
Yeah.
boxes to check,
Yeah. I just started doing that Sally Mae reports.
Mm.
So I do Sally Mae appraising the 1040.
Okay.
And that's very tedious. They want multiple views of the room. They want the plumbing. They want the foundation. what type of foundation, you know, what type of studs.
Yeah.
Is it the 2x4? Is it the 2x6s? The electrical panel, is it Romex coated? Is it, you know, is it copper lined? Is it, you know, they want to know everything.
Yeah. And the last thing you want is your house is probably one of the biggest assets that you are going to have in your life.
Yep.
And a lot, like, some people think, I don't need a real estate agent. Okay.
Okay.
If you don't have a real estate agent, do you know how to negotiate? Do you know how to read contracts? Like, you know, so let's say I'm a buyer, right?
Yeah.
And I don't have an agent. I'm just like, oh, you know, I want this house. All right, the agent's gonna call you, be like, all right, send me an offer.
Yeah, and you know how to do that.
What? Well, like through email, through a text, like, here's like $500, you know? Like, no. There's
Yeah.
a whole process, and then you're gonna negotiate. There's counter offers,
Yeah.
and it's all these contracts are there to protect you and the buyer and the seller and everyone else from getting sued.
Yeah.
So if you are filling out a contract that you're not even familiar with, that you just pulled from the internet, and you just start filling in the blanks, more likely than not, you're gonna get sued. Something's gonna happen. Are you gonna schedule all the inspections, the insurance, the walkthrough, you know, things like that? Like, most people think I can just throw in an offer in, and if I get accepted, I get the house.
Right.
Like, you know?
Nah, you good.
There's so many steps. Like, if you want to get your teeth done, you go to a dentist. If you want to get, like, as simple as I want to get a haircut, I go to the barber.
Yeah.
So when it comes to selling or buying a home,
that's like buying a car without warranty.
you think, yes.
You
Like,
know?
you really think,
It's like, oh, I'm gonna buy a brand new 2024 car, 1 mile on the odometer. I don't need the warranty. Okay. Do you know how to perform the oil change? Do you know how to take the oil filter off, put it back on? You know.
the oil around the ring.
Yeah, the oil around the ring. Do you know how to change a tire? I'm sure everyone knows how to change a tire. Do you know how to rotate them?
Mm-hmm.
Which direction?
Brakes.
Brakes.
Yeah.
You know, are they calipers? Are they, you know?
Mm-hmm. And, you know, the worst thing is when, let's say you're in escrow and you put in your EMD, your earning money deposit of, like, let's just say $5,000. And then they remove the contingencies. You're moving forward. All of a sudden, you guys fall out of escrow. And then you're like, oh, well, I get my $5,000 back. No, you don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, like, then it's a whole process. It's just because it's the lack of knowledge and just not having someone literally guide you through. Like, why would you put in more work? You know how much work it is being in the middle of escrow?
Right.
Like, if you have a 9-to-5 job and you're trying to sell your house or buy your house on your own, that is another job.
Yeah.
I promise you, doing transactions is not just one and done. It is a whole process throughout the whole, if it is a 30-day escrow. Some of them are 45. Some of them are like 17. You know, like, what do I do? How do I schedule? Am I behind on the scheduling? Like, there's so many things. And right now, the way the market is, when people say, hey, I'm going to wait until the interest rates drop, just like everybody else.
Bad idea.
Bad idea. You know what that takes away? That takes away buyers' incentives.
Yeah.
If you're waiting until it's a buyer's market, which really means low interest rates, low house price, that just means more competitors and no buyer incentives. When houses sit on the market because people are like, oh, I'm going to wait, sellers are like, hey, whoever comes in, I will help you pay for closing costs. We can do a 3-2-1 buy down. We can buy down the interest rates. We can do this. We can do that. We can whatever it is, you know.
Yeah.
There's so many things.
It's not like you refinance down the line. You know what I mean?
Right. They always say, you know, date the rate, marry the house.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, like, it's just funny. If you had the opportunity to, and you've been thinking about it, get with your realtor, get with me, get pre-approved.
Yeah. The best time to buy a house is now.
Well, the best time to buy a house is when you're ready.
Well, yeah, but
You know what I mean?
also,
Actually, the quote is the best time to buy a house was 5 years ago.
okay, yeah.
That's like a very generic real estate quote, because 5 years ago it was cheaper. Now you have to
Five years from now, it's going to be worse.
exactly.
So that's why,
That's why you gotta do it now.
yeah, do it now.
I had, and then out of 100-year span, well, close to 100-year span, the market only crashed twice. One during the Great Depression, and then in 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
So that is a 98% success rate.
But
And-
both times included aspects outside of the housing market too.
But get this, all right? So you roll the dice, 98% of the chance, you're winning, okay? Out of that 2%, let's say you bought a house in 2007, 2008, okay? House market crashed. A lot of people foreclosed,
Yeah.
but some of those people held on to their home. Well, guess what? Those houses are now worth a lot. So you bought them for, X amount back in 2007, 2008.
Which were like 150 to 200,000
Right.
for like a 4-bedroom, 3-bath.
Right. And then, okay, so the market crashed, and now everything is below value, and now you're upside down on the house. But if you would have kept it, it's almost 20 years later now.
Yeah.
Imagine how much equity you would have. You think those houses are still valued at that much? No.
Yeah.
Like the ones who were able to just stick to it.
That's at minimum 500,000 equity on most houses.
It's crazy, dude. Like
Probably more now.
Real estate is amazing, and it's only a risk if you don't know what you're doing.
There's probably a $500,000 equity in 2020 when interest rates were like 2%.
Dude. When those interest rates were at 2%, home prices were skyrocketed.
Well, we had our two buddies come on who has the business.
Which one?
I can't think of their names right now, but they're brothers. They went to high school.
Zaid.
Yeah.
Rami. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zaid, he's doing fantastic. He's soaring.
Yeah, no, and they're really good friends, and they came on, talked about how if you were smart, you capitalized off of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Just like they did.
Mm-hmm.
They were loan officers and still are.
Yep.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And so they call people up. What's your interest rate at? Let's get that down. And you get commission off that. And so they were lining the road with money.
Yeah. And there's that quote, when everyone else is running away, you run towards it. You know?
Well, our uncle, right, Dad? Jerry, he invested in Apple. He invested in Apple in like the 90s, and he's a millionaire. Like he got free Apple products. He has like an iMac he got for free because he owns so much stock. And he gets emails on offers. Hey, come down to the Apple store. Like he had an email from Steve Wozniak himself. Like, hey, you invested so much money into our company. Meet me down at the store, and
let's get you a free iPad.
he has like Apple computers, like the iPads, all the new ones. Like day one, he gets them and then he gets an email. Just ask them for my employee number. Steve's employee number was 1.
Nice.
Says go down, give them this code, so they know who it's you.
Oh wow.
So they go, give them the code. Okay, what's the employee number? 1. Okay, here you go. And he's millions of dollars. And then he also went to school like so many years too. He's a professional. He went to school for like
77 when he stopped going to school.
A professional student for what?
He just went to school. He just got degrees all day.
He's got like 8 masters and like
8 masters?
He's got 8 masters, 20
bachelors.
Bachelors.
Just because he can.
Just because he went to school, yeah.
That's awesome.
And like 80% of it was in art or like literature.
Just the fun stuff. Just the good
So
stuff.
like you walk into his house and it's cluttered, full of like, it looks like a museum, but like you're afraid of stepping on stuff.
Right, because everything is valued.
There's like clay art, there's like watercolor paintings, there's like welding stuff, sculptures.
Mm.
Yeah, rock sculptures like the chisel.
Right, yeah.
Chisel sculpt. He made all of it, just because he got a master in it, so he knows how to do it.
Wow.
And like, if you get a master in something, more than likely you're not going to do that thing not great. Like, you're at least above decent.
Right.
So it's all like this artwork, and he has it written in his will, like when he dies, he's gonna give it all to the museum. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
But he did give me and Dad something each, to remember him by.
Are you gonna disclose it on the air? Or?
It just one's a bowl.
Yeah, it was a bowl, and then I got like a.
Chalice.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So he got a chalice, and I got like this cup.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
and there's like paintings, like they look like 1,700 pieces, like.
Speaking of like gifts and stuff, I know we're kind of running out of time. How much time we have, Joe? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna make this quick. I know it's a little off topic here, but we're talking about gifts and like
Yeah.
what people are giving. So in the event, whenever I get married, my best man, I already know who that's gonna be. But the story of the best man is way back in medieval times, where when you got married, your best man was actually the best swordsman.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're marrying someone else's daughter, like people will try to like kill you for it and stuff. So like the person next to you is your best swordsman that you have to protect you. And then over time it just translated to best man. Well, my best man, I'm gonna gift him a sword. Like a real yes.
That would be dope. Or get him knighted.
Yes,
That
exactly.
would be dope.
Exactly. So
That would be awesome.
yeah. Anyone can take my idea, it's okay because it's
Yeah, it was someone else's.
But I already know who my best man is, but I'm not gonna spill it for you guys. But that person is getting a sword. And then
That's
everyone
awesome.
else lined up will probably have like daggers or something. Just some like a little gift, something cool.
Yeah. Or like,
But yeah, best man, best swordsman,
yeah, my friend Cody, he was best man, and not just him, but the rest of the wedding party, on the groom's side, they were all gifted like knives with inscripted their names and stuff. It was cool.
That's cool. That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. I know I did. It's always a good time talking to my co-host,
Yep.
Mr. Kyle Kerrigan over here. Stay tuned for next week and stick around for the Ferran Show at 8 o'clock. You guys listen to Whatever Works on KCAA.
When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood, feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Eat bread, lose weight. That's right. Eat bread, lose weight. Hello, everybody. I'm Joseph from Joseph's Organic Bakery. We offer ancient grain bread from the Bible. That's right. Ancient grain bread from the Bible. We stone grind daily, ferment using sourdough, and bake that same day. Everything is then shipped fresh to our customers nationwide. So if you're interested in feeling good, improving your digestion, knocking down your blood pressure, and balancing your blood sugar, pick up the phone, give us a call, 954-541-4062, 954-541-4062, or you can order online, veganbakerymiami.com, veganbakerymiami.com.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Spear, a licensed agent with Litchfield Insurance Associates here in Beaumont. A large portion of Americans don't have life insurance or don't have enough. Whether you need a temporary policy, something to help with income during retirement, or making sure your final expenses are taken care of, having life insurance is an act of love and security for your whole family. Having a local trusted agent makes navigating through the